We talked to Director of Senior Services Madeline Noonan and find out what's happening at the Barnstable Senior Center on this episode of Barnstable Today. It's Wednesday, July 6th, 2016. I'm Sarah Mantle. So much to tell us about, but if you can, start off and tell us a little bit about some of the grandparent support groups you have going.
Yeah, that's a great thing to talk about, Sarah. I hope you're doing well and enjoying this beautiful summer that we're having here. It's just beautiful.
It is gorgeous.
We recently actually received a call a couple of months ago from a lady who was interested in starting a support group for alienated grandparents. And that's something that a lot of us don't think about all the time. You know, we sort of take for granted the healthy relationships that we may have with our families, including our children and grandchildren. But unfortunately, that does not always ring true for people. And for a variety of reasons, there are situations where grandparents are prevented from having healthy relationships with their grandchildren. And so this has become enough of an issue nationally that there's actually a group dedicated to it. It's called Alienated Grandparents Anonymous Incorporated, and they have chapters throughout various states in the United States. And there is actually one in Massachusetts. But this lady who lived on the Cape had said that for her to go to the support group in Massachusetts, she had to travel to Framingham, to the public library there, and obviously that was quite a hike for her. And she wanted to see if there was enough interest on the Cape and South Shore area to see if people would come. So she had reached out to us. She was looking for a space that was accessible, you know, for people to get to. And, you know, for us, this was something that we felt if there's a need, absolutely we want to provide the help and support that you need to get this off the ground. And it was unbelievable. We set up the first meeting, took place last month. It was on the second Wednesday of the month, and we had 6 people show up, and somebody came from Hingham, you know, to this group. And so I think that really speaks to the fact that people are willing to travel if there is a support network out there for them that they feel will be a place, an opportunity for them to share their personal situation, because everyone's situation is unique to them. You know, clearly there'll be commonalities in some of the issues that they're dealing with. But for us, that really was a great success right off the bat. So we're very, you know, hopeful that this group will continue to meet, that more people, you know, we're trying to get the word out so more people will come if this is an issue that impacts them or somebody that they may know, maybe a family member or friend who they think could use the support. And I have to say it was a wonderful group of women that came. It's obviously open to men as well if there's any male grandparents that would like to come. And I will give the information off the number to call to sign up if anyone's interested in either physically attending the group or getting information on more resources out there. The website for Alienated Grandparents Anonymous is www.aga-fl.org, and there's a plethora of information on there where people can access. And then if people want to sign up to come to the group, they can call Kathy at 508-563-3567. And so, you know, we're obviously, you know, just really trying to help get this off the ground. But I think, like I said, it's off to a great start. And then we have another group just around the same time as, you know, we were working on getting this group started. We got a call from our friend Carrie Bickford, who's very well known on the Cape. She's involved in a lot of things. She works for the county. She is also on the governor appoints her to the Massachusetts Commission for the status of grandparents raising grandchildren, and she is a grandparent raising 2 of her grandchildren and doing an incredible job with that. And she has gotten a number of projects off the ground and initiatives on the Cape and working throughout the state to improve resources for and support services for you know, parenting grandparents. And she was looking at setting up. She was actually looking for a space to host a grandparent raising grandchildren support group. And we had worked on a project a number number of years ago. So we were more than happy to, provide the space. And she's starting, it's an advocacy program. It's called the Grandparents Advocacy Program. It's a collaborative between the Barnstable Senior Centre, the Family Resource Centre of Cape Cod, and she's really looking for anyone out there who has an interest in this area to work towards providing more supports out there. And so we're providing the space. Again, it was a great success. They had an informational session on June 17th, and they had, I think, about 9 people show up to that group. So that was really wonderful. And again, as sad as it is, it speaks to the need. I mean, there was a person who said about the alienated grandparents support group, although it's a great turnout, this is the kind of group you never want to have to go to, and I think the same can be said for, grandparents raising grandchildren. Parenting in this day and age is extremely challenging, but particularly when you're a grandparent or even a great-grandparent that is doing the parenting and stepping into that role, there's a lot of legalities that come with that, whether somebody pursues guardianship of the minor children, and also the reasons why they're in that role. And unfortunately, the opioid crisis, has been a lot of the reason why more grandparents have had to step into that role. But this is really an opportunity for people to come in, get the support, get education and information about sort of the legal the legal territory they have to get involved in, and really just the bureaucracy as well of navigating some of the benefits programs that they may be eligible for and how to do that. So there's it can be very daunting to people, but this is a great way to come in and speak to Carrie, who's a real expert on this topic, and also attorney Kathleen Snow, who is a family law attorney and has a lot of great information she can share. So if people are interested in that group, they should give Carrie Bickford a call. Her number is 508-771-4336, and she can provide them the dates of the next sessions here and any other information they need.
So interesting, Madeline, as I'm listening to you talk about some of these programs at the Senior Center, like you said, such a need, and so great that we have an organization in town that really can help fill that need and take that on. Another thing that you guys are running is that you saw a need for was the TOPS program, taking off pounds sensibly. And that is actually going to begin, I think, really soon, right?
Yeah, actually next week. That was really something for us. I mean, we look at, you see the full spectrum of the programs we offer, the health and wellness programs, and we have so many, physical fitness classes, and, we do so many, cooking demonstrations, like healthy eating demonstrations. And then we thought, a lot of people were coming in and saying, that it was very expensive for them to join some of the better-known weight loss programs that can be extremely expensive, and that can be cost prohibitive for some older people that are on fixed incomes. And so they try and do it on their own. But really a big part of sort of meeting people's weight loss goals is the peer support. It's very challenging to do it on your own. You sort of feel when you're going with it and somebody else, alongside you, it feels like more of a team approach. And that's really what the TOPS program offered. When we looked into it, TOPS was being offered in a lot of senior centers and, public buildings like libraries and fire stations. And we thought, well, maybe this is something that we need to do, because there was no existing TOPS program in the Barnstable area. The nearest one was in Mashpee. And so we felt that, this might be something worth doing, because one of the great benefits that we saw was for an entire year, it's $32 membership, and that includes coming to the groups every week, and there's an online component of this, and sort of all of the other pluses and benefits that were included in that amount. You get a bi-monthly magazine, which has a lot of great stories on people's success journeys and their, weight loss goals, and also recipes and all that kind of stuff, just to keep people motivated. And we thought, why don't we just give this a shot and see how it works? And when we met with the representative from the program, it's all nonprofit. I mean, nobody is making any money in this program. It's a nonprofit organization, which is why the fees are so small. And we had about 20 people come to our informational session, which was wonderful. Of course, now the biggest challenge for us was finding out a day and a time that worked for everybody, because people are busy and doing things. But we decided that Thursdays 2:00 seemed to be the time that worked for the most people. So we're very excited to be starting that next next week, actually next Thursday, July 14th at 2 p.m. So if people want to just come, and they don't have to sign up right away, they can come and sit on the meeting and find out if it's for them. The accountability piece is there. Every week when people come, they do their weigh-in. Their weight's not shared with anybody, so it's all kept strictly confidential.
We'll be sure to tune in to our hour-long news program, Barnstable This Morning, weekdays at 8 a.m. On tomorrow's show, we will have our community profile. We will have our transit segment with Cape Cod Commission's Glenn Cannon. Plus, we'll have all the news and information you need. For Barnstable Today, I'm Sarah Mannell.